Hello, it's 4 News O'Clock on Allnews Nigeria. I am Opeyemi. Here are the headlines for today. China to establish spy facility in Cuba. Biden, SUNAK unveil new economic partnership. Now the news. Cuba has agreed to allow China to build a spying facility on the island that could allow the Chinese to eavesdrop on electronic communications across the southeastern United States. According to CNN, the U.S. learned about the plan in the last several weeks. The first source said, and it's unclear whether China has already begun building a surveillance facility. The second source familiar with intelligence says it suggests that a deal has been struck in principle, but there hasn't been any movement in building the facility. It will not be the first time China has attempted to spy on the United States electronic communications, known as signals intelligence. A suspected Chinese spy balloon that transited the U.S. in February was capable of gathering signals intelligence and is believed to have transmitted back to Beijing in near real time. In that case, the United States took steps to protect sensitive sites and censor intelligence signals before shooting down the balloon. But it is unclear what the United States can do to stop the construction of a Chinese spying facility in Cuba. President Biden's National Security Council pushed back against reports of the planned facility. Mr. Kirby said that the administration was closely monitoring those activities and taking steps to counter them.
Separately, I would say that the relationship that those two countries share is something that we continuously monitor. I would say that, as you've heard us say many times, China's activities, both in our hemisphere and around the world, any concerning activities are something that we will continue to watch closely.
The Biden administration has done little to try to improve relations with Cuba and has only resumed limited bilateral conversations on matters like migration. Following reapproachment efforts under the Obama administration, relations plummeted due to the so-called Havana syndrome, illness that impacted United States diplomats posted in the Cuban capital, and the Trump administration's decision during the final days of the administration to release Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism. In other news, UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and United States President Joe Biden have unveiled a new economic partnership called the Atlantic Declaration, designed to strengthen cooperation between the two nations. This was Sunak's first visit to the Oval Office since assuming office in October 2022. The partnership will also reduce vulnerabilities across supply chains and keep Russia out of global civil nuclear power market. It also covers areas such as artificial intelligence, information sharing in crisis, 5G, 6G, and civil nuclear power. Biden also thanked the British Prime Minister for his partnership on Ukraine and hailed the relationship between their countries. Addressing a press conference on Thursday after their meeting at the White House, the president had this to say.
Support Ukraine needs now on the battlefield and helping them strengthen their military over the long term. The fact of the matter is that I believe we'll have the funding necessary to support Ukraine as long as it takes.
The United States and the UK have been the leading contributors of military aid to Ukraine and are coordinating on providing F-16 fighter jets to reinforce long-term deterrence against Russia. And that's it on today's news. For more updates, kindly follow us on all social media platforms displayed on the screen. We'll be back with more news updates. Until then, stay tuned. I am Opeyemi. Do have a lovely weekend.